Are you a freelancer who's recently quit their 9-to-5, or do you want to quit your 9-to-5 and become a freelancer and you just don't know where to start? If that's you, keep watching this video. My name is Chadvee, and my YouTube channel is all about helping coaches and creatives shift from 9-to-5 and create a thriving online business. What's my timeline for you to shift from being in an office to becoming a freelancer? And how do you do this without stressing? How do you do this without burning out? How do you do this without just having a complete breakdown and telling yourself, this is not for me, I have to go back to the office? Listen to me carefully and probably grab your notebook and take some notes, because this is gonna be good. The first thing I want you to do is make sure that you have some savings. You don't want to jump into these freelancing jobs without having a little bit of money to yourself. Or if it is an option, move back in with your parents. That could actually really help as well, because you wouldn't have the stress of the rent on your head, for that period of time, at least until you can afford to, pay your own rent again. There's nothing wrong with moving back in with your parents, by the way, if you really have to, because you want to create and build something bigger in the future. It is an investment, and I'm sure that your parents and your friends and everybody else is going to be on board with that. Please don't make it look like, you're going backwards in life because you're doing that. You are not. You are going forward, and this is how you're going to start, by investing, by not wasting money in places where they just don't have to be wasted. And also you get to live with your mom again, which I always enjoy. The first thing you're going to do, as I said, is make sure that you have, I say, about 3 months worth of savings, 3 months to 6 months. Now there's different ways you can do this. Consider becoming a digital nomad. So this lifestyle is something that I embraced 2 years, a year and a half ago, where basically what you're going to do is you're going to move to other countries and live there temporarily. Countries where usually the expenses are way lower than back home, and that's going to help you save money while you're doing freelancing or you're growing your online business. And on top of that, you're getting an experience. The reason I do that is because I also have a travel blog on the side. So it just, makes a lot of sense for me to be traveling at the same time as doing my freelancing. Another thing that you can do is really embrace minimalism. So this is probably going to be a little bit hard for some of you, but if you can do it, it's going to make such a big difference. When you start to decide, do I really need this? Like, is this really important for me to have right now? Then suddenly everything starts to, make sense. Every expense starts to have value and meaning. And when you start attaching value and meaning to every expense, then you can more easily track your finances and you can more easily save. If you are a digital nomad, having about $1,000 per month can go a long, long way. So even if you had just like $3,000 to $4,000 in your bank, just consider going to a very cheap country and living there for a couple of months while you're looking for clients. That could already be really, really good for you. Number 2, I want you to go to your employer and tell them that you want to work remotely or you want to become a freelancer now. And I want you to have a very constructive conversation with them about it, because you might be freaking out to tell them that you want to leave the business. But if you've already made up your mind, if you've told yourself, I've done it, this is like the 5th time that I've been, telling myself I need to leave this job, then you're probably on the right space right now to be telling your employer, listen, I am gonna quit anyway, but I would want you to become my first client. What I want you to do is go to your employer and basically tell them, hey, I want to work remotely, or I want to do freelancing, and I want to know if I can take up some work with you. You'd be surprised by how many people actually say yes to that. I've met so many freelancers out there who said that their first client was basically their employer. Don't think that that's not an option, it really is. Number 3, I want you to clean all your social media and to make it very clear every single place be it Facebook, Instagram, be it if you have a Twitter, if you have a Pinterest, if you have a YouTube, wherever you are online, on LinkedIn obviously, I want you to be very clear that you are now a freelancer, or now you're now taking clients, and this is the service that you're offering. Now at the same time, what I want you to do is build your online portfolio. And an online portfolio does not have to be the most amazing thing on the internet. It does not have to be the most amazing website that you've ever created. It just has to be there, because you will be surprised by having an online portfolio removes so much of the hard work when you're about to pitch with a client. There's nothing that's going to really help them understand your services and help them understand if whatever services you're offering is what they're looking for, as just looking at your portfolio, looking at your services and looking at the things that you've done before for other people, or maybe personal projects that you've done, or maybe things that you've done at work when you were working in your office, and those kind of things. Do they really align with what they're looking for in their business? And if they do, it's a no-brainer. You don't have to spend, 30 minutes, an hour on a call with them, explaining to them, pitching to them that you're right for them. They will look at your portfolio and they will decide. And I know this from experience, because when I first started as a freelancer, I had a travel blog, which was already good for my writing, because obviously they could see the way I wrote on my travel blog, but I didn't have a portfolio. They didn't know who I had worked with before. They didn't know if I was offering any other services other than just writing travel stuff, writing food stuff, writing lifestyle stuff. They didn't know. They didn't know I had a business degree. It was really important for me to build that portfolio. And once I did it, my calls and my pitching and my emails went from, over 30 minutes of explaining what I can do, what I can't do for you, all these services I've done, where I've studied, where I've moved, blah, blah, blah. It shifted from all this time being spent on just basically, blurbing my resume during a call, as opposed to them just going on the portfolio, seeing everything that I've done, seeing that it matches what they're looking for, going on a call just to see if they like me, basically, just to see if I'm genuine and I'm an honest person. And those calls have moved from over 30 minutes to now I do my sales calls in like 10, 15 minutes, and they're done. And most of the time, they close and I get the deal. So having a portfolio, for me personally, I think that has made the biggest difference in me pitching to clients and getting clients. The next thing I want you to do is niche down. You've seen this before. You were probably on a YouTube video just before mine, and you've already seen someone say this to you. But listen, this is not just some buzzword that every marketer or every online business person is telling you. Niching does expand your business. Niching does open you up to having more clients. The more specialized you are, the more clear you are on your message on what you offer to your clients, and it's just easier for them to understand what you're offering and if that's right for them. For example, what I did was I went from just saying, hey, I can do your online marketing. Hey, yeah, sure, I can do your emails, I can do your admin stuff, I can do your blog, I can do your copywriting, I can do your social media. Yeah, sure, I can do all of that stuff. And I was finding it, first of all, wasting a lot of time pitching to people, every single person on the internet basically who was looking for online marketing help. So wasting a lot of time and wasting a lot of energy and dividing my attention amongst a lot of people online, and also never being able to explain quite clearly what I'm offering to them, and them never really thinking, oh well, she's good at this thing. No, she's good at that, she knows a little bit of that, she knows a little bit of that, she knows a little bit of that, she's okay. Instead, I want them to think this girl is really good at copywriting, and when I'm in business with them and we're talking and they're telling me, of other issues that they're having in their business, usually we talk about that during the sales call, then maybe they'll say, oh yeah, and I have some trouble on Instagram, and I could be like, hey, I have a content strategy, content planner that I use, do you want it? I can send that over to you. That's usually upselling. So the upselling happens during the call. I'll be like, hey, yeah, I do some email sequences as well. If that's something that you're looking for, I can do that. Or many times when I'm just working with my client, they will just ask me themselves. They will just be like, hey, like Chadvee, like, do you do emails? Because I really need to create an email sequence for this new course that I'm selling, and you're a copywriter. I know that you don't sell this as your service online, but can you tell me, like, can you do this for me? That's another upselling. You see, that's another extra service that I'm offering for cost. So there you go. Something that I know really well is just ending up making me more money. But at the very beginning, I just want you to be very, very clear with your message on what you are online and what kind of services you're offering. Okay, finally, the next thing I want you to tell everyone in your network. Every time you meet a friend, every time you meet your family, obviously if they ask you, don't go around just saying, hey, I'm looking for clients. Hey, I'm a freelancer. No. Every time they ask you, I want you to pitch. I told a friend about the things that I do, and turns out her sister is starting a business, and her sister reached out and became my next client. Always be very clear on what your services are, even when you're meeting friends, even when you're meeting family, and you'll never know. You might just get yourself another client. The next thing, and this is probably one of the last things you're gonna do in all of these steps that I've given you, is basically pitching to strangers. We're going to start with strangers who are actually looking for the services. I've personally not done any cold pitching. I don't believe in cold pitching. Just because I believe in, permission-based marketing, in a marketing where someone is looking for something and then I will offer it to them. I don't go around just sending messages to people unless I have at least a little bit of a feel that they might be looking for a service that I offer. For example, someone once was asking for Facebook ad expert, and I offered SEO in exchange, and I explained how I felt that SEO might be more beneficial for them in the long term as opposed to Facebook ads, and they ended up becoming a client, and they also ended up referring one of their friends who was also, wasting a lot of money on Facebook ads, and they became another client. What I meant by permission-based marketing and permission-based selling is that I want you to pitch to people who are already asking for help. And I think that a really good way of doing that, and what's worked really well for me, is joining some Facebook groups. I think going on Facebook groups is really, really good for you if you're trying to look for clients. As long as you have your messaging really good and your pitch is really good, and you go on a sales call with them, and you can get your next client on Facebook groups. So there you have it. That's my list of all the things I want you to do when you're shifting away from the office and starting to build your freelancing business. We're going to talk a lot about freelancing on this channel, but we're also going to talk about having an online business and what the difference really is. However, as I said, I really do think that you got to start off as a freelancer, even if your end goal is to eventually, have your online business and have an agency where basically you have a big team who are all pitching to clients and getting clients, or maybe you want to become more of an online course, doing coaching or doing online courses. So that's another form of turning your freelancing into a business as well. So we're going to talk about those things in any other video that comes afterwards. So just let me know if those are things that you want to talk about. If there's any questions that you have from this video, just let me know in the comments as well, and I'll get back to you. I really, really, really hope you enjoyed this video. This is my first one. Oh my God, first of many. And there you go. I just hope you have a really, really good day, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.